Okay, today we're going to continue elimination. Yesterday we did some easier problems, which always turn out really nice because we have that exact sign. They have an opposite sign, so we have a 2x and a negative 2x. Today we're going to see the case where we'll have no opposites. So if we don't have any opposites, what we're going to have to do is create those by multiplication. The way we're going to do that is by choosing numbers that when we multiply will give us numbers that will be opposites. And then what we'll do is continue on the same way we did yesterday, where we add the equations together, and then we'll plug that value back into the original and we'll check our answer. So in this problem, it's similar to some of the ones I finished up yesterday with. I always like to add these together, so some people talk about subtracting them, but I just like to talk about adding. So if only this was a negative 2, these two would cancel out. So what I've now done is I've made this one negative, so I have to change all the signs in that equation, which makes them all negative. These cancel, and I get negative 2x equals, when you add those together, you get negative 10. Divide by negative 2 on both sides, and we get x is 5. I'm going to use the first equation again, and I'll take that number, x, and I'll plug it in for the x value. So I have 3 times 5 plus 2y equals 27. I get 15 plus 2y equals 27. And then I will subtract 15 off both sides, which gives me a 12. I'll divide by 2, which gives me a 6. It gives me the ordered pair 5, 6. And then what I can do is check my solution. So I can put 5 in here and 6 in here. I can use the negative signs, or if I don't have to, I get 25 plus 12, and 25 plus 12 is 37. So I can feel confident that this is my answer. In the next problem, it's not as simple. I can't just change the sign to be a negative. Nothing's going to fall out. But I always like to say, if only I could make, I have a negative 3 here, and if only I could just put a 3 right here in front. Well, I can by multiplying everything times 3. If I could just put a 3 right there in front, I'd have a 3y. So I'm going to put times 3 on each one of these. And I like to write it above each one of them. That way I don't forget to multiply one of them by 3. The first equation we're not going to change at all, so I'll just write it off to the side. And the second equation I'm going to change to be 12x plus 3y equals negative 15. What that does now is when I add these together, that creates 0. Here I get 14x equals, these two add together to give me negative 28. So I'll divide by 14 on both sides, and I get x is negative 2. Pick one of the two equations to plug that back into. I think I'm actually going to pick the second one this time just because it looks a little bit simpler. And I'm going to take and I'm going to plug that back in for my x value. So I get 4 times negative 2 plus y equals negative 5. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8 plus y equals negative 5. So when I solve this equation, I would add 8 to both sides, and I'll get y is 3. So my answer will end up being negative 2. That's my x value. My y value is 3. And then I could plug that back in. I could check my answer. So I could put in negative 2 and 3 here. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9, and that does give me negative 13. You can check both equations, and you should check both of the equations. So I have 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, plus 3 is a negative 5.